truth.
So yeah, he brought that up there.
Yeah, there's no point, but John can still present
Yeah.
because then it'll go on to and we can bring it up at the next meeting or something. All right, so we're on record. Welcome to the Town of Fairfield Shellfish Commission meeting, July 9th, 2025. We'll call to order. We do not have a quorum. Present are John Short, Bruce Kiefner, and we have a presentation by Mill River Wetland Committee President John Dilly.
Flood prevention, Columbus, I'm here on that behalf. On behalf of the flood and erosion.
All right,
Committee.
John is here on behalf of the Flood and Erosion Control Board and Commission. All right. So we have to skip over approval of the draft meeting minutes because we can't vote on that. And we're gonna go to bills and communications. It's gonna be fairly fast, so. Clam relay and planting, we put in approximately 8,500 to 9,000 clams right before the clinic. We did have a good crowd at the clinic, so a lot of those clams got harvested on that day. There's probably still a good amount of clams out there. As for a clam relay, usually after 4th of July and before Labor Day, we try to get a relay in. So I'll look at the tides and talk to the harvesters and see if we can get a relay. We can't approve any money, so and we spent everything we had down for clam relay, clam planting already. So we'll try to get a date and we'll see what we can do. Water and habitat quality.
Let's see. In the
Bruce?
month of June, we were open 28 days and closed 2 days. And we had, how much rain did we have? We had rain, but I need to see the. I don't
You wanna
see.
see this? Oh. I don't think it's in here today. The amount of rain. So as Bruce reported, we're open 28 days and closed 2 days. We're gonna move on to permits and access. Shellfish permits, 2025, as of June 30th, we sold 261. We've probably sold a few more. I haven't seen any posts about buying permits, so I'm gonna try to figure out how to get back as the admin of Facebook and start putting that post up there and getting it onto Instagram and everywhere else. We'd like to sell at least 350 permits this year. Southport Beach reopening, no
report.
no report. Commercial shellfish regulations, no report. Other than I emailed Dave Carey and said I wanted to talk to him about setting some commercial shellfish regulations for Fairfield, and he didn't respond. Oyster bed development. Tomorrow at 9 a.m., Tom Course and the conservation staff will be bringing shell down to South Benson Marina, and we'll be using the boat to bring the shell around over into Ash Creek and get as much in as we possibly can. There's another location behind a house on Riverside Drive that we're gonna put about 10 bushels of shell into the creek behind that property. It's close to where the new tide gate is going in, but it won't be affected by that. We'll also be putting live oysters in that area too.
Are we doing spats?
Spat collectors, we have plans to do that tomorrow night.
Around 6.
Yeah, if I can get them coated, I think low tide is
6.
at 6, so if it's possible for me to get them coated during the day, because I'll be doing the shell, if we finish up, I can quickly coat that and then maybe we can go down and put those in. And that would fall within the July 10th timeframe, which we should catch some spec. Same with the shell. We're at the end of the spawning, but there should still be plenty of spat in the water. I was talking to the oyster hatchery, and they said the Thames River was just spawning last week, so that's a good sign. Communications, like I said, we really need to get more out there about permit sales. We talked about it earlier in the year. I think we need to do it a different way by just posting by your permit. We'd probably sell another 75. Talk about all the oyster season coming up, some other things. Upwellers, once the shell is done and the spat collector's in, I'll talk to the hatchery about getting some seed and see if they have any clam seed and oyster seed. And we'll start up the upwellers, run those for a couple months, and then plant the oysters or clams that we remove from that. Reports from the Conservation Department. Shellfish fund balance, $29,865.40 as of June 30th, 2025. I'm pretty sure that the clams and the cost of the clinic have come out of that. There might be a little more to come out because I just got reimbursed for the expenses on the clinic, and it was about $900, so it may go down to $29,000. As reported, shellfish permits 2025, 261 as of June 30th, 2025. Our closure period, as reported, as of June 30th, open 159 days, closed 22 days. We're way ahead of the game on being open this year. We're normally closed a third of the year. And it's like an eighth, 22 days closed, so that's not bad. Our Shellfish Commission budget status, no report. Old business, discussion on plans and goals for 2025. What we need to discuss at the next meeting is what's going to happen come November. I have to start transferring over any information I have and set up the next, we're going to plan on being the chairman, get them ready. I'd like to do something with the shellfish management plan if possible. I think we could probably, there's a lot of information in that just can be removed. I think we can clean it up and update it. Possibly in 3 months. We have to start putting out some posts about getting some new commissioners. We should be getting alternate commissioners. I know I've been saying this for 1 year, but that's how long it takes. So we're looking for 2 alternates and then another person to replace me when my term is up, which is in 4 months. So, all right, one last thing on plans and goals is I was thinking of doing a fall clam dig. Last year we had our clinic in the fall. It was really nice. Is possibly getting together, since we did have a rainy, day this year. We did have a lot of people still come out, and it was very successful. Would be to possibly do a fall clam dig. It would be kind of just like the clinic. We could tweak it a little bit, but I guess we'll discuss that at the next meeting. But if we're going to do it, it would probably be a September or early October date. So.
Yeah, it might be interesting to see that if we spoke about it for permit holders, in other words.
Yes.
It wasn't open.
Open to everyone. But so what would be the enticement? We'd load it up with clams and have free chowder and stuff like that?
Yeah.
All right.
Something like that.
So I was doing some work at Rico's Pizza, and I was talking to the guy, and I said, yeah, I had to do the clinic a couple weeks ago, and because I was busy on a lot of Saturdays. And he goes, oh, 2 people came in, and they were sitting at the bar waiting for pizza, and they were talking about this clam clinic and how good it was, and well run and this and that. And so Rico said they might, well, they'd be totally interested in being involved in the next one we do. So, I mean, they do sell a clam pie. It's possible, you know, to have them help with that or with prizes or just help out altogether. Who knows? But, yeah, so people love the clam clinic. All right, so we'll go right to the discussion on the 2025 clam clinic discussion. So yes, it rained, and yes, it was threatening to rain a lot more. You know, we could have possibly canceled it and tried to push it to the next day, but the problem with that is we have police that are gonna be there.
All these commitments.
We have the chowder, we just put in the clams, and
Steel
normally
band.
to get something the next day would be impossible. If we tried to do it 2 weeks later, we just spent a lot of money that we have to re-spend again. So, you know, it's a rain or shine event. Obviously, if it's dangerous, we would have canceled it, but everyone made it through. Mill River even got a volunteer or two out of it. 3 volunteers. So that's not bad. I think we probably had an attendance close to 200 total.
I think that really the weather was not an issue. I mean, it
Right.
threatened to be.
It's right,
but-
yes.
but as usual, everybody had a good time, and quite frankly, it was a good number.
It was a big number.
You know, when you get too many people, it's,
It's very hard to deal with.
So spread out. I mean, it was the whole beach.
Good amount of
but
people,
it's-
and they stayed because it wasn't like more people just
Even
piling
when the
in.
weather was crummy at 9 AM, you and I were texting and it was not in good shape.
Oh, I know.
but
You know, Sea Grant was supposed to come down and they were coming an hour and a half and I said, listen, I'm looking at the weather, they're like, it's pouring here. I'm like, it's not raining here yet, but I said, they're like, we think maybe no one will show up. It turned out they did show up, but, I said, if we do something in the fall, we'll obviously invite you.
well, everybody had a good time. You know, I mean, everybody is amazed at, number one, how well it's run. You know, the rakes, the bags, the ice.
Yeah, we got it done. So one thing I want to say on that is, I always get from people, even commissioners, like, oh, yeah, for the next one, I got some great changes we can make, like some food trucks or this and that. And I'm like,
No,
well, what do we need to fix? Because it seems like the clinic works very well. We get new people every year, we get some of the same people, we always get a lot of people. So, I don't know, I mean, the only thing I would say would be, you know, a better outreach to volunteers or more clamming instruction, but everyone seems to get the clams. I think it just works out perfectly, so I don't know if we need to make any changes
I
really.
wouldn't, you know, the only thing that we'd like to do is have result in more permits sold.
Right.
Number one, and number two, more volunteers and, you know, maybe associate commissioners or, you know, junior commissioners where you can get kids involved. I mean, if we could get some of the high school
Yeah,
kids.
it's just, high school kids maybe, but younger kids,
No,
it's, you know, we're not there to teach them how to do whatever volunteer stuff. It's very hard, so we always get that, is let's get the kids. We want the kids to show up and go clamming. That's what we want, is so the families will come out, the kids will say, hey, I wanna go clamming. And they're like, oh, let's go get a permit, come out. We don't need the kids to volunteer, truthfully.
oh, no.
And high school kids are fine. We did have a few high school kids there. I know Dean Cardemus's son was there. I forget his first name. I think there were a couple other kids.
The kids we had were
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, they did stuff the whole time. And then we did give out some T-shirts to the volunteers. You know, we probably gave out 5 or 6 T-shirts to volunteers, the red ones. On the T-shirts and hats, we sold $710 worth of T-shirts and hats, which is pretty good. I picked up a blue hat, sort of the color of John's shirt, and people loved that hat. And then I got a gray hat, sort of the color of John's computer, and no one bought that hat. So we're gonna go with the blue from now on. But yeah, I think the clinic went very well. Tim Bishop was there the whole time. Tom Course, the conservation employees, to just put this on the record that they were extremely helpful, very pleasant. We couldn't ask them to do a better job. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tim, for being there the whole time. Thank you, Tom Course, for coming down and showing people how to clam and doing everything that you did.
And those conservation staff that were there were really,
Yes, they love it. So I know JP and Tom, they love it. I think John does. It was a tough morning with the weather. No one really wanted to go, but everyone did and did a good job. All right, so now we're going to go right off that to new business. And John Dilly will present for the flood and erosion control. Is it a board or commission? Board. And John is obviously the president of Mill River Wetland Committee.
Thank you, John. I'll just come up here in case you can hear. I'd like to kind of read a statement into the record, if that's
Okay.
useful.
Do you want to face the camera and do it, or
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't
Don't-
matter.
It's face or radio.
Actually-
Face or radio.
which way is it?
I don't know.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Just talk.
But we, on the flood, so my name is John Dilly. I'm the vice chair of the Flood Prevention, Climate Resilience, and Erosion Control Board here in Fairfield, Connecticut. And I was asked by our chair, Becky Bunnell, to come and speak to you as well as another commission, just to give you some of the talking points and an update on a project that we are championing with the town of Fairfield. So this is a capital project. There's a project manager on it. So I'd like to kind of just read the overview of it, and then we can talk about the status, if that works. So the town of Fairfield has championed, as championed by the Flood Prevention, Climate Resilience, Erosion Control Board, have started a 2025 Master Resilient Fairfield Plan, an update to the town's 2015 Flood and Erosion Plan. This plan will review the risks associated with both coastal as well as pluvial flooding in all parts of town, looking at riverine flooding, coastal flooding, downtown flooding, including underpass flooding. We've retained the consultants of Weston and Sampson and Race to create an analysis of the flood risks across our town that will face up until 2050 as well as to 2100. They, after reviewing all the historical studies, current projects, analysis done to date, will create a series of conceptual designs to mitigate flooding across most parts of town. The town has made a decision to focus on flood mitigation for the majority of nor'easters and other non-hurricane level storms, as trying to protect against hurricane level storms would be cost prohibitive. The Army Corps of Engineers conducted a coastal study protecting against the 500-year storm at a cost estimate of over $546 million. So you understand why we've scoped it down to nor'easters and non-hurricane type
That would
storms.
just be for Fairfield, 546 million.
Yeah, for hurricane level,
Right.
that's the Army Corps' estimate. Flooding will only get worse. As our opinion, the state of Connecticut is projecting a sea level rise of up to 20 inches by 2025 and more intense rainstorms throughout this century, which we're obviously seeing even in the last week, right? The deliverables of this study will be a series of prioritized concept level flooding mitigation solutions that will be brought to the Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, on RTM for final approval, and will update the town's 10-year capital plan. I'm here today to kind of make you aware of the study and the goals, and also get a sense of if you'd like to be involved and how involved in it, even if it's on an informed status, if not contributing. But we just want to make sure that we were meeting with you as we kicked this off. This went to RFP, a PO was issued, the firms were selected. We did kick the project off, so I'll move into kind of some narrative here. We kicked the project off, and we met with the engineers both virtually and in person, both engineering firms. Race is very well known to us, right?
yes, no, Devin.
Yeah. So Devin has been doing a great job on this. The issue we're having right now, there's a couple of issues. One, we've lost the project manager that was leading it, so we're trying to manage that way. Because the town is managing the project, supported by flood and erosion.
Who was the project manager?
There was a woman named Wendy. And then, so, Eli is here trying to step in, but Eli is wearing many, many hats. So as a result, we are waiting for the next set of site visits. So we did a series of site visits. We went to the marina, we went down to Pine Creek, we were all over the coastal area, and then on a separate day, no, earlier in the morning that day, we were up at where Rooster River is and some of the headwaters near the reservoir,
DJs and-
all this. So we literally did that loop from by where the reservoir is, all the way through the Rooster River area and through down that way, and then to the Jennings Beach where the marina is, and then over to Pine Creek. We had 2 or 3 professionals from Weston and Sampson with us. They were taking several pictures, taking a lot of notes, getting input from our members who live in the Rooster River area or in the beach area, and helping them understand this. So we provided a lot of information. We also uploaded to them all the materials from the studies that had been done in the past from our drive and the town's drives. So they have a great volume of material. They were to take that away and come back and come back with some other requests. They have done that, and some of those are more detailed site visits. So we're in the process of trying to get those site visits scheduled, and that's where we are right now. So it's been slightly stalled. I don't think it's to place blame. It's just to say had hoped that we would have had these site visits in place. One of the things that we're up against is we're worried about certain areas of town as we now have entered into the hurricane season, right? And we're pretty well overdue for a pretty major storm here on our coast. So that is the project. Those are the goals. The materials around the RFP, the PO, and some of the stated goals are available on the flood erosion's website, on the town website in our area. And our goal is to get these site visits going so that they have all the data they need to then come back and really prioritize and scope out different actions that they think are feasible in very, very vulnerable parts of our town. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about. And again, ask if there's any interest in involvement from this commission. Again, whether it's an active participation or if it's really more of just, hey, we want to remain informed, please keep us posted. So that's why I'm here today.
Yeah, we should probably be informed.
Yeah.
If there's things going on that possibly would affect shellfish.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be something, or there's possibility that we can help somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know about like I said, I'm here for 4 more months as the chair, and then that's it. Unless you could use me as like a liaison between the commission and your group. I know a lot about the shellfish grounds and all that.
Yep.
But that wouldn't be up to me, so.
I would say, my theory is I'd like to make sure that you're understanding if we make any change, as we were talking about prior to the meeting, about flow towards the shellfish beds of our rivers and the impact that would have on the shellfish. And I also think that if they came back with any types of solutions that involved using shellfish beds as a resiliency tool, at some point, it might be difficult, but you never know what they're gonna come back with in terms of solutions or proposed solutions.
I thought about all that, and it's like, so there's all these new regulations with restoration and shell and that, and if you're creating oyster beds, they need to be harvestable beds and all that.
Well, we would not, our board would not have any insight on that. So if they came to us with that, we would need somebody with that expertise.
There is, like what we do in Ash Creek and that, on a larger scale in the creeks and that, it would help slow water levels, create grasses, all kinds of things that would help with
coastal resiliency, flood mitigation, erosion control.
Of course, there's things that can be done with shellfish. When we first started doing restoration, they said never to mention that any kind of storm protection from oyster restoration.
Interesting, okay.
Because it's really not, back when settlers first came here, there were reefs of oysters that boats would get stuck on. We were able to harvest all those and kill them off with, everything we do. To get it back to those levels, obviously, it's 1,000 years, but probably outside of in certain areas, if it could be determined that it would work out, of course.
Okay.
It would be something, it would have to be worked out with the agriculture department. The new regulations that just came out for restoration are they're very prohibitive. No tidal, nothing intertidal. So that eliminates all the creeks and rivers and that, because that's all intertidal. So since we've been doing it for a long time, they're still allowing us to do Ash Creek. But after that, it was outside of Southport Harbor, sort of Southport Beach, Sasko and Southport Beach area. But this is a different thing, you know, so it's not, it wouldn't be trying to create like a harvestable situation. It would be for resiliency, but there would have to be some kind of plan worked out with the state as to how it can be thinned out and reshelled, and a plan that goes on for, you know, to keep building and building.
Right.
I mean, certainly if you were to go down to Ash Creek at low tide, as I'm sure you have, you would see oyster islands. I mean, the
Yeah.
oysters are,
Right. So if you look at those islands too, the islands are getting higher. Well, it's not the islands are getting higher, the mudflats are getting lower. And that's why they're rebuilding the island over in Ash Creek and all that. But it's funny is, you mentioned this is over where they did the dredging in Southport, they took the spoils and dumped them to create this oyster bed and all that. Well, it only took, how long was it for that sand that was taken out of the harbor to wash right up towards Sasko, towards Southport Beach? So,
I mean,
I don't know if that was, it was reported that that might happen, and it did happen. So,
you talk about nor'easters, and the prevailing storm direction is from the east. So you look at the fetch, or the distance the water will travel, length of Long Island Sound, by the time it gets to Southport Beach, it's built up a
So,
lot of momentum.
the way to, you know, there's this other issue of, there's not much shell available. But what the blooms do is they have a sucker boat that sucks shell off the bottom. They bring it in, dry it, and then put it back out on all their beds, catch, and then a few years later, they harvest all the oysters, recatch all that shell. That's a possibility of sucking shell off of certain areas of our beds that are unproductive, and there's a ton of it. Like outside of Southport Beach, I mean, they just did, we did the dredging and then they dumped the spoils out, but we had some boats going there before, but we've done surveys there where you're just pulling up shell, you know, slipper shell, quarter-deckers, oyster shell. There's nothing there, but if that was all collected and then moved to certain areas, then this becomes where all that shell's moved, that becomes a viable bed, and then you're creating a buffer zone with all that other shell, which is gonna grow into a reef. So you'd have almost like a feeder of a reef feeding harvestable beds outside of it. So, you know, that would be a way to do it, would be to suck shell and move it, clean up beds, move the junk shell to areas where it would then turn and put live oyster on it or fresh shell and start creating. So if you moved all the junk shell, covered it with fresh shell, drop some live oyster in there, then we start building a reef and have an area where it could be shelled up for commercial use. So it's like, it actually, it's the, you know, gives us what we want, is an area that's clean that we could possibly lease, and it gives flood and erosion possibly
Some
something that
Yeah.
might work out for the resiliency. It still works out to where, if you did get a sucker boat and do that, you'd still have to put fresh shell on top of it to catch, right? And that's where it comes into effect where, like I said, there's not a lot of shell in the state. I mean, Corps collects, you know, shell, but it's not, if you see what they do with the sucker boat, they have 2 sucker boats, they're collecting 700,000 bushels. It's a pile that's 50 feet high, 500 feet long, 200 feet wide. Like, you can get a lot of shell together with one of those boats. So, you know, a combination of that and some other sources might work
Okay.
out.
Well, like I said, purpose was to make sure we connected and that we're keeping you involved, and that when we start to get results back from them or suggestions, I'll come back, or I'll send it to you in advance and you can review it and then we can talk about it and pull you in further if it seems like there's an opportunity for you to have an active role, if not, just from an informed role as well.
And I think we could, if there are interesting things, we could talk about it here and also talk
Let me ask
with
you,
Dave Gary too.
obviously, there's a year-long plan of putting this together, right? That's the timeframe.
Yeah,
or more.
we're behind now.
You're
Yeah,
behind,
we're
so
behind, but
figure a year or two, right?
oh, it's gotta be, yeah,
And then
We were hoping for
funding.
some first recommendations to come here before the June timeframe so that we
Yeah.
could maybe do some mitigation
So you're looking
efforts
for
around the
some,
beach.
You're gonna be, where's all the funding gonna come from? Is it gonna be federal? Is there gonna be grant money? Is the town kicking money? Like,
I think that the town is paying for the engineering resources. And then I'm not clear as to where the next round of funding will come for the different projects. Becky was closer to that than I was.
Yeah, I mean, of
Okay.
course.
I'll do that. All right, but I just want, like I said, I
Like I
appreciate
said,
it.
there's a possibility, if you want me to work on this, it's after November.
Yep.
But who even knows what's going on with this? It's like, maybe they'll change the town code, but that takes a year. I'll probably have to be at least like, well, I'll probably be working with Bruce a little bit to get him through the first 6 months. And then, you should be okay after that. Get you through the clam clinic and then, but we'll see who comes on.
Yeah.
We're looking for members, so we'll go back to you, but.
No,
yes,
that's all I
We would like
had.
to be involved.
Yep.
Obviously, we're not all here, and there's a couple new members on the commission that really are still not fully up to speed on, shellfish and all that, how the meetings work and that, obviously, because you see the room is empty. So,
And there may be, quite frankly,
so we're really looking for some more people.
in any of these organizations, Mill River and so on and so forth, you have lots of people that have interest, but getting people that are really
Doers.
going to be worker
Active.
bees is,
Yeah.
and not just sit down at a meeting, once a month for an hour or two.
Well, let's just get off this for a second. We'll do that in other or something or informational.
Yeah, that's all I had.
That's
Thank
all
you
you
for the
have?
So we
opportunity.
we may find some people from your side. that
You want to just stay till the end? We're going to talk. for
Yeah,
another
it's
5
fine. I'm not
minutes.
gonna go, yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
Thank
so I think the Shellfish Commission would totally be interested.
Okay.
It may be in a passive role, or maybe in an active
We'll
role.
see what they come back with, but at least we wanted to prime the pump with you to make sure you knew what was going on.
We are
Thank you.
open to everything.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll go to informational. Is there any informational things you want to put out there?
Nothing, not that comes to mind, I think.
So back over on the oyster bed development, I did have to file a permit to do the restoration, put the shell in. And it said there was no intertidal, but they did allow, Dave Curry did allow us to do it in Ash Creek, so. Other. So we do have to find commissioners. But what I want to talk about, and since it's me and you, Bruce, is we have commissioners, we have a new commissioner who has not been to one meeting yet. They've been on the Zoom, but they haven't physically shown up.
Been to one,
Um,
she came to one.
Hmm?
She was here once.
Really? Okay,
Ken.
one meeting, all right. And then we have another new commissioner who has been here a few times, but doesn't respond to things. I interviewed both people and I kind of got a different picture. So we're going to be looking for more commissioners. If you know anyone that wants to be active, I've talked to a lot of people. It's tough, but I think there's one of the RTM members has a name for me, and then Lizette had another name. I'm going to contact those people. What else on other? Other is me and Tom are going to go look at a boat this week. I was supposed to do it on the weekend. I took the weekend off. I sat by a pool.
Where's the boat?
I didn't do anything other than work on my boat and go sit at a pool.
What's the boat? What is it?
It's I think it's a pleasure boat. It's like a bow rider. I don't know what brand it is. It's actually someone on the Mill River wetland. Someone's selling a boat.
I don't know who.
So we're gonna take a look at it and see if it can be converted to a work boat. If it can't, obviously, pass it by. We need something that really can be used for a work boat and for the water sampling. So it has to have some kind of comfort level for water sampling, but then again, it's gotta have deck space and be able to deal with our bags of clams and shell and all that stuff. You gonna stop down at the marina tomorrow? You around at 9 o'clock?
Yeah, I
You don't have to do anything. There'll be guys to do the heavy lifting.
okay, oh, to put the shell on? Oh, they're gonna be at the marina, they're not gonna be over at the harbor. Oh, because Shucks is in the marina, right?
Oh, shucks, must be at South Benson.
I guess. I have no
I
idea.
don't know where it is. Last time I saw it, obviously, was in Southport.
Yeah.
So it could be in Southport, they might be bringing it over. I'm hoping it's already over there, because that ride, it may not make it. But, yeah, we'll be down there at 9. I'll be down there, Tom, hopefully JP and someone else. My son's gonna come down and help out. John, if you know any kids that need to burn a lot of energy,
Yeah, you doing shell, you putting shell in?
Yeah.
What time?
9 o'clock.
I'll ask Michael.
All right. It's a good workout.
The
You can throw shell.
weather, the forecast
It's
is,
the shoveling. You shovel into the buckets, then drag the bucket down the dock, put it in the boat, take the boat around the corner,
the
dump it in,
forecast,
and repeat.
the forecast is not favorable.
Yeah, well, I know.
Talking about thunderstorms in the morning.
In the morning?
Yeah.
I took the day off. Thursday. Yeah, it's not supposed to be too nice, is it? Yeah, possibly at 11, 12 o'clock, yeah. Oh, we'll see what we can get in.
I mean,
Anything else from the public?
Nothing.
All right, we're gonna adjourn the meeting.